Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. We are live at the moment. Joining with us, Vikalp sir again from NICA, the senior security engineer we all know from GRC. And today we shall be discussing on the certifications and projects you should do as a college student. Unfortunately, we may not have half of the panel with us today to be live, unfortunately, due to other engagements, unavoidable circumstances, you can say. Well, I hope that we too are going to keep you all entertained for the next upcoming 29 minutes. So, as usual, we will start with the introduction of what we are. We were founded last year, and we are not for profit who aim to help you all, professionals or even aspirants who wish to start their careers in cybersecurity. We do offer a diverse set of services. So, if you're a follower of our page, you may notice us posting on posts, articles, some carousels, and we also offer personal mentorship sessions. We do have mentored a few professionals from even abroad, and you can watch it on our YouTube channel as well. Maybe just check out on LinkedIn and see a few of our posts. This is the latest offering. That's the Cybersecurity Podcast, and I hope that you all enjoy. So let's just cut to the point and start with the projects and certifications you are supposed to do while you're in college. So this does not only include people who are studying IT in college, but even non-IT professionals. You're just as much going to be helped by these resources to start from the fundamentals. And yeah, we'll be sharing the links, of course, for you to perform them and also enroll for those certifications if you want to just go ahead in your career. So just stay with us until the end. So it's not really the exhaustive list. You are, of course, free to try out these projects, and some of them even could be tried out in the cloud. So I would like to have Vikalp sir unmute himself, and let's just start. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, definitely. And hi everyone. I am Vikalp. I am a part of NICA information security team. So I basically into the cybersecurity GRC domain, working for last 4 years in this particular domain. Basically, I look after for the governance activities, the risk management, and the compliance activities which are there. So I think, Shruti, I feel that it's a very important topic since due to certain hacking techniques and new technologies are also being involved, are also being evolved, and new threats are also coming up. So I feel it is important to understand from for the students as well, which are going to transition or going to start their career in cybersecurity. So I think first of all, like before starting on the list of projects that you should do as a student, so I feel it is important to understand the basics of cybersecurity first, like which include your modules related to encryption, authentication, what is CIA triad, hashing, which is there, incident responses, malwares, spyware, all those things you have to first understand the basics, like what exactly it is. And then I think networking is also one of the important things to do while you are, going into this cybersecurity field. So networking with people, maybe since you are in college, you can try out joining your computer societies with basically work as a cybersecurity societies, because they have a lot of what I would say, lot of workshops, activities, technical things, so hackathons that basically they conduct in the colleges. So it's the best opportunity for the students to join those societies and try out the things. And first, it will help us to build their technical knowledge, and of course it basically improve their interpersonal skills as well as networking with the seniors, juniors, faculties, and exchange the information as well. So I think that is something which I feel should be a start to start a career in cybersecurity. Then I think we can start with the projects. I think as you mentioned, maybe you can go to that particular slide.
Thank you,
Can
sir.
you go
I
to
think
that slide?
these are really insightful words. So I do feel the same, because once you are having the fundamental base level of the theory knowledge, I think projects will only help you to visualize the things that you have already learned. So I do think that it is important, and moreover, you're going to get stuck for most of the times in your projects, maybe at least 99.9%. So you just go out to the internet, you go to YouTube, you also may reach out to your network that you have built, or maybe join the communities that you are enrolled at the institution, for example, or maybe besides. You met some guys, or you go to some meetup, for example, the AWS users meetup. You can ask them if you are having some problem, because most of the projects that I have listed, they are, of course, they are listed on VMs or virtual machines that you deploy locally, but you can easily replicate those projects on cloud as well. So it's just, if you do the same project on cloud, you're just going to have the advantage of labeling or mentioning cloud skills, maybe of AWS, Azure, or GCP on your CV, and that will distinguish you apart from the other candidates. So just starting out with the list of the projects, as Sir said, just we'll just go through one by one these 11 topics, and just in a brief, I would like to share a few words about it, and you can, of course, try some more experiments out for yourself, but I will give you the starting point at the end of the Google Doc link, where you can just watch the videos and replicate the same. So let's start. So first of all, it's not a cybersecurity project. Number one, setting up virtual machines using VirtualBox, but it's the first step that you will have to do for anything that you ever want to do while if you are working on your home lab. So there are many applications that you can install. For example, VirtualBox, then they can help you out to set up your own virtual machines as per your hardware and other configurations. And yeah, it's only going to make you better. For example, Sir suggested the second one, security hardening policies on a server. So you deploy the server, and then you add practices, or like you add you add you add configurations like multi-factor authentication, or you just remove third-party applications, so that the attack surface area of your server actually reduces, and it's easier to maintain the security or prevent it in the first place proactively from attacks. And yeah, in case if sir wants to add a few more lines on security hardening policies, I would really love to welcome.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Shruti. So I think before starting these projects, I think as you mentioned that the first point is with respect to the, it's not very very specific to security. So I think these projects, I think which you mentioned is are more of a technical project. So before that, I feel as I mentioned, like basics is always important while you are into security or into development side or software engineering, right? So first you need to understand what our actual virtual machine is, right? What is a virtual box? Like you need to understand the basics of operating systems, the networking, the firewall, the ports, right? All of these things, like not just you don't have to deep dive into that, but the basics are always helpful before going to start any project in cybersecurity. So I think first one is really important to understand setting up a virtual machine using VirtualBox, because setting up virtual machine you can try out the things like deploying any softwares, deploying any applications, try out new things. You can exploit the vulnerabilities which are there by not compromising the host operating system, because no one doesn't want to exploit their host operating system, right? Because they would have their own personal data and all important files. So it's always a good practice to deploy the virtual machines, then only try to do all those VAPT activities which are there. Second is setting up the security hardening. So it's like let's say if you have deployed a server, right? So what kind of security hardening policies that you can implement? It can go from setting up the IAM policies, identity access management, like the providing the accesses to users, how you are providing the accesses, what kind of permissions that you have, what kind of methodology you have in terms of grouping, in terms of providing individual access on that. Second could be the network isolation. Like, are you, let's say, if I talk about in terms of cloud, so in cloud you have a term called VPCs, right? So maybe you can set up a VPCs, you can deploy the rules, security groups to that particular VPCs for the isolation part. Then you have uh, the security hardening of the servers, like how you are deploying the policies in terms of access controls, and all those data
Yeah,
protection aspect as
network
well.
segmentation, those kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
network segmentation, encryption is there for data privacy and data protection as well. So there are a lot of security policies that you try out deploying on a server. So that could be again a good project to show up
Yeah, it does cover
into
multiple domains of privacy.
yeah, and
You
it's a
touch
good
upon the
start.
technical aspects.
Yeah,
You
it's a good
do
start, and
access
you'll
control.
learn a lot of things around that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you just start with one project and do not really totally aim to like get into the only one domain specifically, because you are going to touch upon many different things while you're hardening the policies of your server and you're touching upon encryption. You are going to start working more on the privacy side as well. You are going to see how much is
Right.
this compliant with the other regulations that are present in your particular domain or maybe your country. So it's going to help, it's going to help, I think. Yeah, and if you just shift to cloud, you're going to learn more like network segmentation, you're going to learn more about virtual private clouds. Then you have the trust boundaries. For example, if your server is probably hosted on a third party and that server is under the domain of AWS, so is there any other organization that is also hosting its services on that particular physical server? Well, if that's a risk and it's not really allowed in your country or the industry, then it's a problem. So you're going to read a lot, and yeah, you're not going to find all information. So just keep yourself open to learning more. Let's move on to the next one. So as Sir touched up, you start from the fundamentals, and if you want to visualize what is networking and you're just confused about what is CIDR, what is a gateway, how do these even talk, or how to use TCP packets, sorry, how do you use ICMP packets to test out the network using ping. So I would suggest that Cisco Packet Tracer is a free tool and you can deploy any kind of network that you want, be it any topology or be it even replicating your own home network. It's all going to work and it's going to help you visualize. So the next time when you are going out for an interview, you easily can identify what kind of IP address a particular CIDR block or a subnet is going to have, or what is the gateway. You can find things out. Even you can, in a simulation, configure what kind of ports or what kind of sockets does the router need to have even have that kind of communication. Oh, we have Vikas sir with us, and I'll just welcome him on stage.
Mm.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Shruti, for inviting me for this lovely webinar, and look forward to contributing as well.
Sure, sir. We're in the middle of the presentation of the list of projects, and you're just free to add any words if you want. And yeah, it's good. You can even touch up some things that are very basic, like what is really the importance of projects and certifications, because you have an end goal, and this is only going to aid your skills. So you can definitely touch up more on your perspectives with these.
Yeah, I think what I want to stress upon here is that while there was a time when your qualifications and your knowledge meant a lot, today we have a skill based economy where you need to understand and have skills available with you. A simple example would be that while you can take all the writing classes online, unless you write, you'll not be known as a writer or an author. And if you do author, when you actually write and publish something, and because of this new age economy of internet, you can actually do a lot of work online. You can research everything, and with the age of Gen I, you can easily pick up various topics uh, and research them and actually pick up a lot of activities. A simple example would be that if you want to become a GRC professional, you could just Google or maybe use ChatGPT and the new age Gen AI tools to question as to what skills would a GRC professional require. A simple example would be you would be needing to make security awareness presentations. I think that's a very simple thing, which every security professional, right from an AppSec engineer to a SOC analyst or a GRC professional, should know. So, making one simple awareness presentation and giving to your peers and students and um, should be moving you towards a place where you can evangelize security, which we always look for in a security professional. If you want to be a SOC analyst, you can also take up very simple projects of analyzing logs or doing a little bit of system administration, setting up a virtual machine, both on your own computer or as well as on the cloud. And these are the things which we look as for potential employees and potential team members as well. So I think you've got a lovely list of projects here. I'll let you continue with them. But I think what every professional or any student who wants to aspire to pick up any skill, he should do is to constantly keep trying. I think iterating and failure, not planning too much, but just picking up some small projects, doing it. You can obviously use the ChatGPT for diagnosing issues as well, but I think it's a great time with cloud, Gen AI, and also so much information available online. It's just will and I think the ability to fail, get up, and again start is what we require from people who want to join cybersecurity. In fact, the hallmark is curiosity and determination to succeed. That's what I think the two essential qualities of any cybersecurity professional.
Thank you, sir. I think these are some really golden words that our viewers would like to remember forever in their life if they are starting out. So yeah, these insights do really mean a lot, and we'll just go ahead with the presentation again. So again, when you're starting out with your own projects, you are required to do the networking knowledge. You are supposed to know it very well. And if you want to set up your own home lab of attacking or defense, attack and defense like red team and blue team, so you can set up your own vulnerable labs, keep it separate from your particular public network or your own Ethernet network that you have on your system, and you can set up a NAT. And in that particular locally isolated network, the NAT network, you can definitely maybe even DDoS your own machine. So yeah, it's not recommended, but everyone has to try it once or twice. So you just do it. We're not going to take any blame for any collateral damage that you have while you're working on your project. So do it wisely. Next, we do have something very, very important that even Vikas sir, because it's Teachers' Day and he was also one of my teachers, he also stressed upon it, is that elk stack. If you can visualize the things like logs, what are being passed from your endpoints, there is nothing more important than that. And network visibility is something that you are definitely going to need. So even using Kibana for searching, Elastic Search for digesting the logs, it's going to help you in the long term, because that is what tools like SIM, like Splunk, they also incorporate. And we're going to go forward towards the sixth point, but I would like Vikalp sir to say a few words from his side as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Shruti. So I think on the elk stack part, maybe you can maybe someone can try with a small project, maybe building a small application, because in colleges, like they have subjects related to development as well, security, like coding, software development as well, web application development. So maybe simple project could be try out building a small application with which have functionalities of login, logout, and some dynamic functionalities, and maybe then setting up a small elk stack and try to pass the login, logout logs and other activity logs to elk, and see like how the logs are being passed and what kind of analytics that I can build, what kind of rules that I can build, right? So some like examples could be, if let's say someone is try login into the application at some odd hours, or there are more number of hits in a particular time frame. So maybe we can create some rules around that, and which will
Yeah.
trigger an alert to that. So I think in that way you will learn again. It's again a lot of learning around setting up. First is setting up an elk stack. You will understand the Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana, how it will work. Then you will understand how the logs are being passed. You will understand the sort of
Visualization.
methodology behind it. You will understand the risk. If let's say I won't get such logs into my central system, what could be the threats to my application, all of that thing. So I think people can start with that simple project and learn about the elk stack
Yeah, I
and
think
SIM
that's
as well.
important as well. Yeah. So yeah, going up to SIM like Splunk, it's the most widely used SIM tool that's like security information and event management. It gives you the overall visibility on your network, from starting from endpoints to even network servers or even other file servers or mail servers that you have. It gives you coverage on all the endpoints. Keep in mind that it is mostly related to intrusion detection. It helps you detect, but you do not really take an action with respect to the alerts. For example, using it uses elk stack as the one of the fundamental factors that have been used into creating the sim tool. But yeah, it can alert you, get your attention, but it you have to manually intervene for that. If you do want to set up an automated response, then EDR tools like Wazoo, it's also like an EDR plus SIM tool, so it's mostly an XDR extended one. So yeah, you can use that and set up alerts and maybe ask Wazoo to intervene. Maybe if you feel that there's a lot of DDoS requests coming in a particular time frame at particular point of time, you can just block that IP address and you're safe. So you do not really have to have a man personnel sitting as a SOC analyst and trying to secure you at that point of time when there is no one at the office. And you do have to know how to really read network logs. So the basics would be to definitely start to capture packets from your network using pcap files, and you just start and you see how to even how does the even the a TCP/IP handshake happen. That sin act, then acknowledgement again. That is going to help you visualize things that you may read in theory, but definitely not you have seen. So it's going to help you in the long run. Anything you would like to add?
And adding to add, I think adding to your, I think all of these to all the viewers. So all of these projects, when like starting from point number 5 to 6, 7, 8, I think all of these projects will help you to gain knowledge about the network security. If you are, interested to go into the network part of the security and trying to go into network security, so all of these things will really help you to understand like how basically the networking works and what are the security protocols are there. How can I build security measures around networking to prevent any kind of external threats to into my organization. So that sort of thing you can learn about from these particular projects.
Yeah,
Uh,
surely. And while you prepare for the network security, and you have to work definitely with firewalls that's present everywhere, and you can set up your own firewall rules. You can maybe even use factors that even prevent someone from internally to your network to attack it. For example, you have a system that's compromised internally, you won't let that affect your other system. You can set up firewall rules to even isolate a particular compromised device, like maybe a compromised router. and if you are into red teaming, we do have a very good resource on GitHub. I will share that link, and you can just set up. It's on Dockers. It's very lightweight. It's particular environment set up on your system. It's going to help you learn how to exploit, and you can use any other tools, maybe Metasploit or maybe even tools like I don't know, even Google Gen AI kind of stuff, to even write simple scripts and maybe use escalation, maybe even just simply extract. very sensitive details out of the Dockers that are embedded inside it. And if you're into programming, working as a software engineer, definitely you should try out writing vulnerable port scanning tools. It was recommended by Vikalp sir, and I have included a video to that as well. You can check out what are the open ports and what are the ports that you can target using your exploit tools like Metasploit or maybe something of a payload that you have done. Now, to aid to our learning or just have a proof or a gate pass to sit for the interviews, we can have a list of certificates. We would
I
not
think
like to
one more,
learn.
yeah, Shruti, sorry to, I think one more important project which I feel that usually, when I was also in college and I see people, trying out that is the something related to the application VAPT, right? So
Uh,
let's say if someone try out the AppSec part, wants to become an application security engineer. So a simple project again could be developing an application and try out exploiting the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities which are there,
yeah,
from starting from SQL injection to CSRF to XSS, all those things. So again, it will help you to understand how the actual backend code and everything was developed, what technologies are being there, and then when you try out exploiting the vulnerabilities in that application, then you will that it will help you to understand the overall OWASP top 10 issues which are commonly found out in these web applications. So yeah, again I feel it's a common project that usually people took up uh, during
yeah.
their initial.
I think this is a very important one that I missed out to include. I will include because I have personally used OS BWAP as well while I was learning. So SQL injection, maybe cross-site scripting. These are things that you should learn, and web application is a very demanding sector. So you do have a job in that if you can know those
And
skills.
I think one more point which I think Vikas sir was also trying to emphasize is, let's say if someone wants to become a GRC engineer, GRC consultant, right? So I think Vikas sir mentioned about creating the decks with respect to security awareness or any infosec program decks which are there. So then again, in GRC, because it is in this particular field, it's important for you to collaborate with the people. It's important to have a good writing skills and good communication skills as well. So I think people can try out building some guidelines as well in terms of documentation, right? So in terms of documentation, maybe you can try creating security guidelines, let's say for networking as well, for cloud security, or for ransomware. What kind of guidelines should be there? Let's say if you are in college and you pick some asset, pick some area into your college and try out try creating some guidelines around it, like what kind of security guidelines should be there, right? So maybe in GRC it's important to get that understanding as well, get those skills also. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
sorry
think
to
these are
interrupt Shruti two
really
times.
important. Yeah, it's good because if you have a disaster management plan ready from the start, then you do not have to panic when there is an actual emergency. Also, even if you're there or not in the company someday, someone else who takes up your place, they are going to read the documentations that they need to continue the business. So it's an extremely important skills that we hardly fail to notice while we are doing our projects. And yeah, maybe certifications do not really require you most of the times to do such projects with due diligence. And maybe some of them you are just submitting the MCQs while watching the videos passively. It's not really the best way to learn. So more focus I would like to put on the practical knowledge. And I think Vikalp sir and Vikas sir also shared the same opinion, to learn things hands-on rather than rely on a piece of paper to really prove your worth. So if you're starting out, Google Cybersecurity Certificate is one of the best to recommend. And yeah, same for ISC squared certified in cybersecurity. So do you have any others that you would like to add?
I think a very good point which Vikalp and you, Shruti, both brought out was even in GRC having very clear skills in terms of awareness presentations, vendor risk management, or knowledge of risk frameworks. A lot of people do is, I'll give you an example. They pick up the NIST AI, NIST security framework and read through it, understand it, see it, videos and all. But you can always make a hypothetical organization and do a simple NIST assessment and say, oh, okay, fine. If I were to rate an organization on the NIST, what are the kind of evidences shall I look forward to? If you don't know, ask questions, research on Google, ChatGPT, write down this. So if you do a NIST assessment yourself, then you will understand how this could be done. A lot of people in colleges do ISO certifications, but when we ask them to do an actual pre-ISO audit, pre-audit, they don't know what really to check. So that is also one area where we can say, okay, fine, I have done an ISO training for 5 days. Now, can I just look at how do I implement access control? How would the organization implement it? What kind of questions do I need to ask? So you can research every control and then write down your own inferences on it, and then show your input to your peer or your one of your mentors, and then go ahead with it. And I think you got a lovely list of certifications here. I think right from basic aspects, and we all refer to very simple, cost-effective certifications. I think these are also essential, but not really. Or you should always look for things which can give you practical skills, and so most of these certifications do help in that.
Mhm. Yeah, surely. And for GRC, it's one of the areas where you do not really need that much technical skills to be applied directly, but definitely you need the technical knowledge to even be able to visualize what the organization is implementing, whether or not they are actually able to really manage the risk that they want to protect for their assets. And same for GRC Mastery by Abid Hamdan. Sir, he's widely known as Unix guy. He has a course that I'm currently doing as well, and there he asks practical questions, and you have to submit solutions. And yeah, you do have a Discord forum where you can even ask questions related to GRC. He's a senior manager at PwC Australia, so yeah, he has made his course like that, and I'm enjoying it because I'm doing it as well. And it absolutely has a capstone project at the end where you are given, for example, a question where, like, there is this pharmaceutical company that has developed a new recipe. So how do you check who has access to it? How do they prevent the unauthorized professionals from accessing it? What kind of questions are you even going to ask? How do you know that the recipe has not been tampered with? So you do have to use your own background knowledge, like hashes, access control, whitelisting, blacklisting, all these kind of things. So it's ultimately helpful. I think it's a blend of theoretical and practical knowledge that will help you go ahead in the long term. So yeah, projects are necessary.
Yeah, and I
And
think out of the list you are mentioning, I think one of the important, like one of the essential certification which I usually, I mean, like all these certification are important when you are trying out things in cybersecurity. But I feel like CompTIA security plus certification is something which which is highly recommended by the industry professionals of because it gives you a fundamental understanding of the security concepts, like both from security operations as well as the GRC perspective, like from starting from application security to incident management, then again go to the DR strategies, risk management, all of those things. So I think because it gives you that fundamental understanding, though it is easier to start people uh, trying out things and go into deep dive on a particular subject.
no,
But yeah.
sure. So I just had a question because you all are industry seniors. What are the chances that a company would like to hire someone with projects and practical skills, but no certifications, with respect to someone who has the same kind of, maybe less amount of projects, but with more certifications? So, what are the odds that the person with more practical knowledge is going to get hired without any certifications whatsoever?
uh,
So I
yeah,
think
Vikas.
I don't think. Sorry, I took a little time to answer, but I'm just saying it's not really the case that certifications are an essential thing for hiring. Yes, in certain large organizations, they are used as a HR filter. Sometimes your resumes do get filtered out if you don't have the relevant certifications, but it is not a necessity. It's always a battle, but I will say that certifications give you a curated list of knowledge, and when you are applying for organizations where there's a huge list of people who are already applying this, try and set up some QRs to filter the number of candidates. So that is where, let's say, a simple example would be Security Plus certification, which is considered a basic one. But for people who've really mastered the art and who can stand out from above the crowd, I don't think certifications are an essential thing. So if you can demonstrate through practical projects, your resumes, and you, even a lot of online courses on which are available on Coursera, you can demonstrate practical projects. I don't think certifications are a must. They are a good definitive aid, but they are not a must-have. It's a good to have. And I don't think really, at least a security leader or a practitioner would disqualify a candidate from the lack of certifications.
Thank you, sir. That's valuable insight. Vikas, sir, you want to add a few words on this?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Vikas, sir. Like, since it's always important to have the practical knowledge, as I think Vikas has like few times back, like number of times he emphasized the importance of practical knowledge. Like, it quickly be setting up access control system or setting up the network security controls into your organization. Let's say if you have number of certification to your resume, right? And one day you get some issue that you have to rectify, and you are not able to solve that, even you are not able to provide some simple solutions to that, right? So in that case, I feel it is not worth it to get a list of certification if you don't have that practical knowledge into that. And again, agree to Vikas sir that as a security leader, I mean, I don't think none of the security leader will disqualify in terms of that not having the certification, but have a lot of knowledge around the practical aspect of security. So yeah, again, like it's a good to have, like it's give you that particular subject knowledge. Let's say if you are again going into a, since I'm from a GRC background, so maybe I can talk about that. So if you are going into some GRC certification, like your CISA, CRIS, right, all of that. So like it gives you that particular subject matter knowledge in terms of audits, risk management, all of that things. But it's always required that it's always essential if you have that practical knowledge of implementing the risk management strategies, risk management frameworks into your organizations, how you are governing your security program, and how you are contributing to the success of organization by governing the security program, and providing the metrics to the management which can show that progress, all of that things. So yeah, like it's again, the priority one is to have the practical knowledge, then security certification are good to have things, you can parallelly go for them.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think these are some really good advice that people are having from the experienced professionals in the panel. So, if you want to try out some certifications that are more technical oriented, apart from the basic fundamentals, comprehensive ones listed in the top three, you do have the Splunk training. So if you want to be a SOC analyst, these are the really gold standard certifications that will help you out if you want to apply for the entry level SOC analyst jobs. And even blue team ones, if you want to join in as a SOC analyst, again, blue team level 1. And you can even specialize further as blue team level 2. There are the specializations as well. So these are some that I would like everyone to check out. I do have them on the links. Special mention, I would like to add more emphasis on the seventh one. This is really good for people who want to start out but do have some budgetary constraints. So, SOC core skills with John Strands by Black Hills InfoSec Security, they have a pay what you can program. So you can even start with as low as $0 or maybe $1 and do the course. And if you have some money later, you can try out their small their own labs. It's just a CTF, and you can maybe try that out later. But if you are searching for knowledge at a cost limit, then yeah, SOC score skills with John Strands is the one that I would like to mention. And if you want to set out yourself apart from the others, privacy one is good to have, and some of the best pocket-friendly privacy certifications is definitely by Data Security Corporation of India. It's certified secure privacy professional. I do wish to do that as well. And yeah, it's a good to have. If you can respect privacy, you will automatically know how to really respect the risk while managing it in your organization, and it's going to help you ultimately in the long term. So we are at the end of today's discussion. As promised, we do have the list of the resources. I have posted it in the comment section under my personal profile on LinkedIn. You can check that out. But I will also be posting this same podcast video on YouTube, and it is going to help everyone, I hope. So we are at the end of today's discussion. We have crossed the 30-minute mark. We have stretched it for 40 minutes, but I hope that it was worth it for everyone. And if anyone has any questions, maybe we'll just stop by for 4 minutes and we'll end at 9:45. Any final words, concluding words that you would like to add, Vikalp sir and Vikas sir? And we can wait for the questions meanwhile. Thank you.
No, it's a great session. Thank you, Shruti, for your contribution. And I think we look forward to hosting more such webinars as well.
Thank you, sir. Same here. Thank you, sir. Means a lot for providing me this platform. Vikalp sir, you have any words that
Yeah.
you'd like to add for the viewers one last time?
Yeah, I think again, great session, Shruti, for organizing. I think the list of projects and the list of certifications, the overall conversation was really, learning. It's a great learning, and for the viewers as well, and even for us. So yeah, I think what I would try to emphasize is like for the college students or the freshers who are just starting out things in cybersecurity. So again, like three, four key things that you can start with, like understanding the basics of security, try out the things with some projects, uh, try to do network with the people either in your college, like joining the societies which are there, which basically conducts the security activities, or you can go to the conferences as well, which are there in India as well as like outside India as well. You can maybe try that out. Yeah, and regarding certifications, you can parallelly do that, but essential point is having like get a practical knowledge. Then alongside, you can do that certification. Then it's a great combination of skills that you would be having while you will join any organization.
Thank you,
So
sir.
yeah, thank you very much.
These are really good to know. I would like to wish you both a happy Teachers' Day. I have not been able to wish it from the start because I've definitely learned a lot from you all. Vikas sir has been officially my teacher, and I've been knowing him for a year. So thank you, sir, for being there. And if you are learning in college, just be confident and be brave enough to try out everything that you have in front of you, because it's really the easiest level that you are at currently. Because the real level, the difficulty gets harder once you pass out, and you don't want to fall into that trap of from being a student to unemployed. So take your decisions wisely and use your time wisely, and yeah, do justice to yourself and also have justice in the environment around you. Have a good learning environment, and thank you everyone for having us. We do not have any questions, and we would end here. Thank you, sir. Hope to see you both again, or maybe even more people joining us. Unfortunately, we could not have Akshat with us, so maybe some other day, some other topic for the viewers. Thank you, and it means a lot. Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Shruti. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.